Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. Shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today in another late night episode. Returned rather late, was just a little bit busy with stuff. Ooh. Evening. So that's my Joy-Cons falling over. Yeah, what am I going to talk about today? I don't know. Digital Circus episode 4 is coming out tomorrow. It's pretty cool. Epic and Musical's final act is coming out on Christmas Day itself. Also pretty cool. I don't know. Well, we'll see where conversation goes. Probably somewhere random, but good evening everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 11:54 PM on Thursday, December 12th, 2024. I don't know why the first thing that came to mind is a pommel horse. And honestly, it's because I saw a vault today. Like, the vaulting blocks, is that what they're called? And for some reason in my head I called it a pommel horse, and it wasn't until just this moment I was thinking about it and I was like, wait a minute. That was not a pommel horse, that was definitely a vaulting block. And it's not because I didn't know what a vaulting block is. You know, I used to do gymnastics when I was younger, but I don't know, in my head the only word that came to mind was pommel horse. But I don't know, now I think about it, no one called me out on it at that moment, so anyway, I mean, vaulting blocks and pommel horse is interesting because when I think about them, we definitely had them in primary school, but it's not like we ever did any of those vaulting things. We had a very small pommel horse, mind you, and we had a very terrible springboard. But it's also kind of interesting because my school did actually host like a gymnastics club, which is one I went to, and I did like the first, I can't remember what you call them, like grade or like the gymnastics class or something. Actually, you know, I don't. I'm trying to think about it. It used to be like after school, I'd go to gymnastics class and do a tiniest amount of gymnastics. Like, the things I remember is going, like, we'd go, like, around in a circuit. We, like, split up into groups and we do different things. Like, I remember it so clearly in my head now. I'm not sure if I've ever spoken about this, which is kind of crazy. But, like, on the very left, there would be the ropes, which, you would, like, we wouldn't even really do gymnastics on it. We just climb the rope and then go down it again. And I remember I could never actually climb the rope for ages. Like, I literally could not physically pull myself up. And then just one random day, it just suddenly, like, either it clicked in my mind or like I developed enough muscles from growing as a child, and then I suddenly could just like climb up easily. Well, maybe not easily. I wouldn't say it was like as easy as it could have been, but it was like not a challenge anymore. And I don't know if that was stuck in my memory as just being like it was a weirder situation of like not being able to do something like at all. Like I could hold my weight with a rope, but I just could not figure out how to pull myself up. And then on that day it just clicked about how to actually keep the rope like between my feet, and then also like pull myself up at the same time. And then I'm trying to think what was. Well, I don't know if there was anything in the top left area. Maybe there was something, but I remember the top area, back, had a big trampoline, like a big actual proper like gymnastics trampoline. Like it wasn't one of those like fake trampolines. Well, fake trampolines is the wrong word, but one, not like the type of ones you get in like the backyard or people's gardens, and people just sort of play around on. This was actually like genuinely a proper gymnastics trampoline, and we all. I remember like stand outside sort of like watching while one person goes on, and then the instructor would just be like, oh, do this, or whatever. The thing is, because it was like open to all levels of skill, like you never, like the first times you sort of go, you like improve, I guess, but then we have all the other times it doesn't like push you any further, from what I recall. But maybe it did. And you might be like, oh, did you do like anything particularly crazy? No, it wasn't. It was not that intense gymnastic lessons. It was very sort of casual. So, you know, you did like pike jumps, straddle jumps, what was that, tuck jumps? That's the golden free. And then you do, I can't even remember what it's called now. Like a half twist where you land in the pike position and you sort of twist around. I actually can't remember what any of these are called anymore. But we did that. What was it called? Hold on. Half twist pike trampoline. It's called. It's something you basically like land on your butt, and then in midair you just sort of like twisty flip around, and you face the other way. Is it tuck, straddle, pike, seat landing? Is that it? Swivel hips. That's what it's called. Seat landing, half twist to another seat landing. I will say, like, the scores you get for all of these, the most complicated thing I could do, I'm not sure. Let me think. Full twist jump. Feet to feet jump with 360 twist, turn all the way around and start. Yeah, I think that's probably the most. Back pull over to feet. Starting from back landing, somersault backwards over your head, landing on your feet. I don't know if I ever did that. Back landing to half twist. I don't remember most of these, to be honest. So I never got very, very far. With swivel hips, I remember it had like a catchy name, which I always thought was definitely a made-up name. But apparently it's a legitimate term for it, so okay, fair enough. Who could forget swivel hips? Anyway. Because I feel like the groups were like always split up very randomly, instead of actually by skill level. So, you know, I remember watching along some like older students like do these swivel hips and do actually like maybe a flip or two. And then me being like 6 or 5 or something, just sort of watching. And then sometimes you be paired with people even younger than you, and then you get to like show off like, woo, look at you, you can do a straddle jump or something. And then I remember down the right side of a hall of a gym, and there was like I don't even know what it's called, but it's like a long trampoline, like a trampoline route path. What is it called? Gymnastics long trampoline. I don't think it's an actual event in the Olympics. But it's basically like a super long one where you sort of like jump along. Acro long trampoline. I guess it's meant to simulate, you know, the sort of like trampoline-esque floor. Well, maybe not, because it's like it really was quite sort of springy. You sort of just jump along and you do like, again, just more jumps as you go. And then in the back right corner, I forgot, there was like the... Technically, I guess it was meant to be the uneven bars or the parallel bar. No, uneven, I guess. Except for we were so young, we couldn't really do any tricks on it. But the only thing I remember is we can like, you like hold yourself up and then you like do a flip over it. I remember one time as well, we had a competition where you basically hung from a bar in a pike position and you had to sort of like lift your legs up, like I guess leg raises or something. And I remember basically like no one could do it. I could only do it about halfway or something. And then there was this like, was really like young, like younger than me. Like, she was like this tiny girl, just like, I guess she had probably had a better center of mass for her or something. She just like busted out like 20 or something. And we were like, wow. I mean, I remember in the center hall, there was the floor place, which I don't remember also doing any like floor routines. The only thing I really remember is we like sat in a straddle position and stretched really. And then sometimes we would do a candle, which is basically, I don't know how else to describe this. You land, if you land on your back, that's a bit aggressive. You lie on your back, and then you sort of, you want to rest on the back of your shoulders, and you sort of like lift your butt and your legs in the air vertically upwards, so you look like a candle. And for some reason, I remember doing like a gymnastics, I'm not sure if exam is the right word, but exam, where we had to hold a candle for like some X length of time. And I remember that being a requirement for some unfathomable reason to actually get like this grade, I suppose, in the exam. I don't know, very, very bizarre the more I think about it, because I'm not sure candles are even... I mean, I guess it's kind of like, it leads into things in gymnastics. Again, I'm not a gymnastics expert. I did it for like just a small amount of time when I was growing. Well, actually, I did it for a while. It's just more like I didn't go that intensely into it. It's probably the better way to put it. But yeah, what else did we do in gymnastics class? I think those are the main sort of things in the areas. But like, very rarely, if ever, did we use the vaulting block, and also like never the pommel horse. We had a pommel horse. We had like the vaulting horse, is that what they're called? Like the mini pommel. And then we had a full-on proper like large pommel horse. And oh, I actually remember that the gymnastics coach, actually, he did like a routine on the pommel horse once. Like did it for us as kids, and we were like, whoa, that's actually so cool. Like, he legitimately was a trained gymnast, and I think the others, or at least, were people who knew gymnastics and things like that. But I guess it wasn't that intense, the gymnastics club or society, such that I never really did anything all that crazy. But I do remember once being taken to like an actual gymnastics, like proper gymnastics, like course thing or whatever. My parents and we had like a little chat or like or interview or whatever. Not sure interview's the right word. We had a chat with the actual instructor, basically being like, oh, you know, what would she sort of like learn, what would she have to do? And then we had a conversation about like how it was actually quite intense, the course, to do gymnastics here. And I don't think I was really that into gymnastics. So I guess that just like never ended up going any further. Which is not a bad thing. I'm definitely way too tall, I think, to do gymnastics. Like you have to be quite short to be able to do all the flips that are available in gymnastics, and you know, like with tumbles and things like that, because you have a lower or smaller moment of inertia, right? So I'm not gonna say it's necessarily easier, but it's better for that sort of thing, because you can like flip more, you can do much more complicated routines like that. And yeah, I'm just definitely just way too tall for it to even be really all that feasible. Well, not feasible. I'm sure there's been tall gymnasts before, but anywho, yeah. But I do kind of look fondly back on those memories. I remember, like, I had to bring in, well, I didn't have to, but like I brought in like a separate PE kit to do these gymnastic lessons or whatever, and what I had was like some random like football kit or something from my mother's company. I think it was like an Aston Villa one, and people kept asking me like, oh, do you support Aston Villa? And I actually genuinely did not even know what Aston Villa was. But it was on my like gym kit, so I'm not surprised that people did. And then it had like sponsored by like a company which I don't think exists anymore. I think it got bought out by like Virgin Media, but like it was an old broadband company called NTL or something like that. And that would be on the kit as well. I don't know why I have such a good memory of it. I remember one time I forgot to bring it or something, and then I just like refused to do gymnastics without wearing it. I'm not even sure necessarily why, reflecting back on it. Sort of just like, it felt like I wasn't allowed to for some reason. In my mind, like that's how kids' brains work. It would be like, it's absolutely illegal for me to use my school PE kit to do gymnastics or something. Does that make any sense? Absolutely not, but it comes to mind for really no apparent reason. Yeah, I mean, I do have pretty fond memories. And sometimes we have like fun lessons, I suppose. I mean, looking back, I actually think all the lessons were pretty fun on their own merits, but we'd have like fun lessons, the same way you'd watch a movie towards the end of like the term time. In school, we played, for some reason, Simon Says all the time, just on the floor. We'd always like stand together. We play Simon Says. Did I ever win? I did win once, I'm pretty sure. Because it ended up getting pretty like hard. It wasn't so much about following the rules of Simon Says anymore. It was about like I remember one of them was like stand on one leg. Well, Simon Says stand on one leg, and then Simon Says close your eyes, which is not always the easiest to do. I mean, it's like Simon Says spin or something. And if you fall over, it's like, oh, you know, you didn't follow Simon Says' instructions. But really, Simon Says' instructions were pretty darn difficult. That one at least. So it definitely feels like more unfair thing, if anything. What else happened in gymnastics class? That's a really great question. I don't have a good answer for you. I'm not even sure. I can remember the face of a main instructor, like, pretty well in my head. I feel like I remember his name as well for some reason. Never called him out. I'm not sure why I ever called him, to be honest. I cannot remember the faces of any of the other assistants, though. It used to be quite a fun time, to be honest. Never got to a stage of doing... Well, okay, I could do cartwheels and I could do round-offs, to be fair. I forgot about that. That is something we did on the floor. But never got to a stage of doing anything particularly crazy. And I tried to pick it up again in university time, but by that point I was just like, you know, I'm not really all for it anymore. Sorry, a little bit of a pause. I have just realised, though, that I didn't actually upload. Well, I didn't schedule the Animal Crossing episode for yesterday for the right time, as it came out now, in midnight, and I was like, what? But no, I didn't ever realise it never got published. I did record it quite late, I think, to be honest, kind of like this one. So I guess this one I'll just publish at like 4 AM or something to at least give it a bit of spacing. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, gymnastics class. What else can I really remember from it? There's not too much that I end up remembering from it, because I feel like a lot of it was quite sort of routine. It just, except for one time, I feel like there was some sort of merit badge system, or like you get patches for like certain grades or whatever, and I was doing the first one or something with my friends. I don't know what happened to that qualification, to be perfectly honest, but as I said, the only thing I remember doing is like I had to hold like a candle for a while, and I remember just being there next to my two friends and we were just sort of like chatting basically the entire time. It was very, very, very casual. Do I regret not going further with it? Nah, not really, I suppose. Gymnastics kind of cool, but also, yeah, as I say, I end up not having well, I suppose if I wanted to go national, I ended up not having the right body type. Would have been cool to, I suppose, maintain that flexibility. Because as I say, I tried it in university, because I was just like signing up for everything. I was like, oh, gymnastics, let's give it a shot. And then, like, it's so silly, I bought the membership, like, thing you had to do to actually like train for it, and then I realised, oh, I really don't have enough time to do this, because the gymnastics like training place was actually like just too far away. And I was already doing like 2 other sports I was more interested in, which were like rowing and fencing. Well, actually, as it turns out, I don't actually like rowing, but but I was doing that, and I was like, I just straight up just don't have time to go do gymnastics, so that was a bit of a waste of money, but I did it for like 2 or 3 sessions, I think, so it's at least something, not all completely kaput. But yeah, what else do I remember from gymnastics class? I'm not really sure, to be honest, because everyone most people who went were basically from my school. Some people, to be fair, did join who weren't from my school. That's basically the extent of my commentary there, huh? May, Malika, Luca. Okay, interesting. So I'm doing a bit of shiny colours at the same time. Yeah, and I remember one random story I had was I was doing a long trampoline sort of bouncing thing, and then for some reason I felt very compelled to show off the fact that I had lost one of my baby teeth very recently, so I remember sort of like proudly showing it off to the training instructor, who just went, wow, or something like that. You know, I mean, like, what else are you going to do in that situation? You're going to be like, oh, sick, amazing. It's quite loud. But you know, there's sort of bemusement that you expect when you're sort of like entertaining children. I don't know if that came to mind, but it very much did. Yeah. What else to say about it? I don't think there is anything else. That's kind of it, to be honest. Did I do anything else cool during during times I studied quote gymnastics? I think study's kind of the wrong word, but I can't really think of anything else, so I guess not. Nothing else of note or interest happened. No, that's probably not true. Probably stuff did happen, I just can't really remember it. But on that note, I'm going to round this episode off here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons, and I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.